Hello, and welcome to today's World of Work. My name is Kim Markman, and I am an employment specialist here at the Senior Source. And this seminar is a basic overview of what it takes to look for a job in today's job market, and also just some information about what our employment program includes and entails, and how you can get involved. So to start with, we have the 5 stereotypes about older workers debunked. And the first one is they can't learn new things, and that is absolutely untrue. When I started at the Senior Source, I taught the computer classes, so I learned firsthand that people over 50 can absolutely learn new things. They are less productive. They take more time off sick, and statistically, of course, it's younger parents with young children that take the most time off sick, not because they are sick themselves, but their children may be. They will leave and retire the organization. And hopefully this starts going by the wayside a little bit because the average age of the worker is rising as people are staying in the workforce longer. They are overqualified, and this is bad. And it does seem like being overqualified would be a good thing, but sometimes hiring managers or the supervisors would be afraid that maybe someone would try to take their job, or that they would get bored and they would leave quickly. So top new job trends that we're seeing a lot more frequently. Video interviews, longer hiring processes. So the average hiring process takes roughly 23 days to complete, compared to 13 days just 4 years ago. So be prepared to wait a little longer to get a job. The gig economy, so a lot of people have little side gigs that they do. Maybe they have dog walking or Uber or Lyft or food delivery or something like that. We are seeing a lot more of that as well. Tougher screening processes. So background checks have increased from 25% usage in 2010 to 42% today. And skills testing, which they look at your computer skills, maybe your math skills, and that has increased from 16 to 23%. And there's also a lot more drug testing nowadays than there was back in 2010. And personality test usage today has increased from 12% in 2010 to 18% today. And I think we've all seen those personality tests, and sometimes they're almost 100 questions long, and you have to answer whether or not you strongly agree or strongly disagree or things like that. And so going back to video interviews, 6.3% of employers 4 years ago, but today it is used by 29.8% of employers. And fewer permanent jobs. We are seeing a lot more temporary and project-based jobs depending on the industry you're in. We are seeing that a lot more in IT especially. Most new jobs are with small companies. And small companies tend to be the most open to hiring people over 50 as well. The average age of the worker is rising. Fewer people are retiring altogether. And also people are staying healthier longer. So job security is considered 3 to 7 years. We don't often see the 20 plus years in one job anymore unless it's something like with the government. Online applications, and some of them are long, and that goes back to the longer hiring processes. And social networking. And more opportunities to work from home, and we're seeing that a lot with customer service because a lot more people are shopping online, and so the customer service is done from more of a call center type environment. It's done more over the phone and with internet chat, and a lot of companies are starting to realize people can do that from home. But there are also, if you're in education, a lot of ESL opportunities to teach ESL to overseas students from home. So the hot industries in the Dallas area. The first one is professional and business services, and this is according to the Bureau of Labor Statistics. So the professional and business services includes the tech industry, so that's probably a big driving force behind that being the first on the list. But it can also include bookkeeping, accounting, and auditing, financial managers and administrative support, and surprisingly enough, things like janitorial, landscapers, and security guards. The education and health services, it includes teachers at all levels and teachers' assistants, daycare services, and just all aspects of healthcare, including the at-home caregivers. We're seeing a lot of that as well. Just here at the Senior Source, a lot of caregiving companies interested in hiring our clients, and social services. So the Senior Source itself would probably fall in that category. And then we have the mining, logging, and construction, the leisure and hospitality, and trade, transportation, and utilities, which includes retail and warehouse and shipping companies. And the warehouse and shipping companies we're seeing a lot of because, again, more people are shopping online, so they're going to need more of the warehouse and the couriers to deliver the orders and the pickers to pack the orders. And then the financial activities, and that's more finance, of course, insurance, real estate, leasing. And Dallas, interestingly enough, also added the largest number of jobs in the country between November 2018 and November 2019. So the first steps when you're just getting started in your job search. So what is your purpose or goal? Would you like to work full-time or part-time? Just supplement your income and your skills. So if you're looking into a new career, what are your transferable skills? What kind of work setting or environment are you the happiest? Some people want to work from home. Some of my clients love working in a warehouse environment or an office. It just depends on the individual. So the salary range, what salary or hourly rate are you able to live with, and what is the ideal amount? And a good way to do this actually would be to go on Google or salary.com or even Glassdoor and just see what the going rate is, and also calculate what the minimum salary is that you can live off of and go from there. So geography, what in terms of location do you want to work? And that's important because the DFW area is roughly the size of the state of Connecticut. So if you have to drive too far, sometimes that kind of cancels out the salary or a good portion of it. So work life versus personal life, how do you want those two to interact? Sometimes people have other commitments outside of work that they want to work around. And also before you get started, just do your research. Research the job market, what industries are hiring and for what types of jobs, just like that list we went over before. What are the average pay ranges? And again, Glassdoor is really good for that. And even Google, people go in now and discuss the salary ranges they had at their particular jobs. What, if any, education is required? And researching employers, so just to find out about their company culture and be better prepared for their interview process. And LinkedIn, Glassdoor, job boards, Indeed and Google have spaces where people can discuss the cultures at their previous employers, and Glassdoor has a place where you can review the interview process. People will write in about their interview process with specific companies. They will review specific companies and also report what their salary range was. So, your job search toolkit. The most important thing is networking. Start with that briefly. So why network? You uncover the hidden job market. 80% of jobs are not advertised. And you can learn more about your chosen career field, especially if you are changing careers. You can do an informational interview to learn from a working professional. You just kind of speak to them and kind of learn about, okay, what kind of education did you have to get? What was the process like getting into this field? And maybe just meet them up for coffee or something like that. And you can always ask at the end of the informational interview, who else would you contact? Who would you recommend? What companies would you suggest, especially for an entry-level person? And always send a thank you note or email to that person as well. And add them to your network. So that's a very valuable resource, informational interviews. And identify top organizations for what you're interested in your area. So where do you network? The short answer is everywhere. Job fairs, because oftentimes at a job fair you would not walk away with a job. You might fill out applications at a job fair, but it is very rare for you to walk away with a job. So at a job fair you can always research who's coming ahead of time and just target those companies. And that's also very valuable because there are recruiters there, and in this day and age where everything is behind the computer, it can be very difficult to get an actual person. So a good place to find out about what's coming up job fair wise is careerdfw.org's job fair calendar. And networking events, careerdfw.org again has a networking event calendar, and some of them are industry specific. Or you can go on meetup.com and find industry specific groups that meet up. So, and there are all sorts of different types. If you're in IT, for example, just Dallas Job Seekers, there are several of them on meetup.com, and meetup.com is free to join. Some of the individual groups might cost a nominal fee, but again, meetup.com by itself is free to join. Social gatherings, professional meetings. So, for example, at the Senior Source, a lot of my colleagues go to the Dallas area Gerontological Society meetings. So that's a good example of a professional meeting. And basically anywhere you go, because every conversation is a possible opportunity. We've had people talk about finding jobs through their financial advisor or through their hairdresser. So everywhere, anyone can potentially be an opportunity to network with. So what is a personal commercial? And that can be one of the most important tools you have when it comes to networking. It is a way of introducing yourself while networking. And again, once they ask that dreaded "tell me about yourself" question in interviews, that's a good and quick way to answer it there too. It is quick and to the point. It's usually no more than 30 seconds. And it outlines your skills, both general and more specific. But if you're in a more professional environment of people that are in your field, you can be a lot more specific. You can tailor it to your situation. It includes specific job-related accomplishments. And if you won any awards or anything like that, now is the time to brag about that. It highlights educational backgrounds, especially if they're specific to the job you are looking for. And always start out with your name and end with your name. So here's an example of a personal commercial. She is in the mental health field. Hello, I am Jane Smith. I'm an experienced licensed professional counselor with a specialty in anxiety disorders in women. I have experience in individual counseling, facilitating support groups, and developing programs for nonprofits that specialize in mental health. Who do you know that I should connect with? I'd like to follow up with you and get their contact information if that's okay with you. And what this leaves out is also it's important when you are networking with somebody to ask them, how may I help you, to engage them. What are you looking for? Just engage the other person that you're talking to. But notice here how she spells it out. She says she's a licensed professional counselor. She doesn't just say she's an LPC. She makes it very clear what that means. And then she narrows it down more. She is an LPC, but she also specializes in anxiety disorders in women, and what she has done with it, as she has done individual counseling and support groups and programs with nonprofits. And it's also good to end with your name, because after all that information, they might have forgotten your name if you give it first. So it's a pleasure to meet you today. And again, my name is Jane Smith. So resume, cover letter, and references. And I'm just going to go over this really briefly because we are also going to post our resume workshop that goes over this in more depth. And then I also see people on a one-on-one basis about that because everybody is so unique. So it's always good to meet them one-on-one so you can meet their needs the best. So just a basic overview. You would tailor each resume to a job application because with the job applications, they have the applicant tracking system if you submit it online. And what those are looking for is the almost exact wording of what is in that job description. Since it's a computer, it doesn't really pick up if you're implying something. It's very black and white. It's either there or it's not. So it's good to tailor your resume to each job application and reflect the language that is used in the job description. Keep it to 2 pages unless it's an academic resume. Those usually tend to be longer. And make sure your name, phone number, and email address, and if you have a LinkedIn URL, make sure that is on the top of each page just in case they get separated. And you don't have to include your address. Make sure to proofread and proofread again. If possible, have another set of eyes look at it because computers, they don't catch everything. And if you have a reference page, you would keep that separate. We don't really say references available upon request anymore. And the best references are people that have seen you work in the past, so maybe former coworkers or people that you have volunteered with, just things like that. And you would list their names, email addresses, and phone numbers if you have that information, just a way for them to be contacted. So with the cover letter basics, again, just tailor each cover letter to the job application and use the same language the job application or description uses, and keep it to about 3 paragraphs, just relatively brief. The paragraphs themselves don't have to be long, but you would highlight your relevant skills and show how well you fit the job. So you would be matching your skills to the job in the cover letter to kind of entice the reader to want to read your resume and find out more. Include your name and phone number and contact information on the top. So just like with your resume, your name, your phone number, email address, and your LinkedIn URL if you have one. And if you're not sure who to address the greeting of a letter to, dear hiring manager is usually fine. So interviewing skills, and again, I'm going to go over this very basically because we do have an interviewing workshop that we are also going to post. So you can find out more about that. And so prepare ahead of time for the interviewing. Research the company, have your resume ready, preferably the resume that you submitted to them with their application, and dress for success. And practice getting to the interviewing site ahead of time. You might also, as part of researching the company, look up their interview process if someone has posted that and just see how that goes, and maybe just practice a few questions. And put your best foot forward. Smile, be engaging to everybody, including the receptionist, just anyone that you meet, because in an interview, they have already decided that they want to learn more about you based on your resume. So in an interview, a lot of recruiters, what they are looking for is that you are somebody that they would like to come and see at the office or at the work site every day. Computer skills, and that is very important. We are increasingly seeing that as a prerequisite for jobs that didn't previously require that. So basic computer skills and knowledge are key. Anymore, it is difficult to even apply for a job without an email address, and social media is everything. We do offer computer classes here at the Senior Source. They have a small class size. I think the maximum is 12 now. We are revamping the room a little bit. So it's a small class size, so that way you get the individualized attention if you're falling a little bit behind. The curriculum is designed for learners age 50 plus, and it's in its own designated classroom. And it's good for both beginners and people who want to brush up. Maybe they haven't used Word in a while and there's a new version and they want to learn it. So it's good for that too, or people who have never used the software before. And you would take only the classes you want. So we have Introduction to Computers, Word, Excel, and PowerPoint. So for example, if you're interested in learning Excel but you don't really want to know Word or learn Word, you can just take Excel and that's just fine. So we don't make people go through all the classes at once. And we also offer LinkedIn training and one-on-one help with your profile. And so having a job history together. And that is essential for filling out applications, and just have something written up that includes the dates you worked there, the address of the employer, the job title, the job description, your supervisor's name, and the employer phone number. And that's also good for putting together your resume, although you won't have this much information on your resume. But the job history is more in-depth because the applications are more in-depth. Oftentimes they want to know the address and phone number of the employer and the supervisor's name. And that way, if you have it all written out, you're more prepared to fill out applications, and that portion of it will go quicker. So the Senior Sources approach, we call it the Working Family Success Model. We try to make it more holistic, and of course, I'm going to start with employment services. So we do have career coaches here on staff that can help you develop a solid job search plan, accelerate your job search, and show you how to invest in yourself. And so our employment services comprise of career coaching, but also helping you make a career plan. I'm helping you with networking, a weekly job lead email, LinkedIn training, and labs where you have a chance to apply your training. Career coaching, again, computer classes, hiring events, which are like job fairs, but it's with an individual employer. And then again, job fairs with multiple employers. We try to have a few each year. And they are exclusively for people age 50 and above. So the employers coming to our job fair know that we are the Senior Source and that our clients are age 50 and above. So interview skills, we've done interviewing workshops and mock interviews as well. And we've also done one-on-one interview help, just depending on the situation. Maybe someone has an interview coming up and they call us to get some practice, so to calm their nerves a little bit, and we've done that too. And special seminars, we'll have outside speakers come in and just present a variety of different special seminars, and a lot of them are in HR. So they have some of that insider knowledge and resume assistance. So income supports, that's the second part of our approach. So income supports can help you maximize the resources that you have now. So we can help you apply for SNAP, which is also known as food stamps. That can help expand your food budget. Medicare savings, it can eliminate the amount that you spend on Medicare. It can eliminate your premium that they take out of the Social Security every month, deductibles and coinsurance. And Medicare Extra Help can help with the drug plan premiums and other fees associated with that. And then Medicaid can also further help with medical costs. Even if you have Medicare, you can be dual eligible and have both of them. So we can do screening as well to make sure that you're eligible, and then we can help with the application. And we set up individual appointments for that too, because everybody's needs are very different. Financial counseling, and that is our third component. So a financial coach can help you develop a solid budget and spending plan, maximize your resources, and show you how to invest in your future, among a variety of other things. We've had people talk to financial coaches about changing their Medicare supplements, or maybe something like reverse mortgages. That's a popular one, debt management. So there's a variety of different factors a financial coach can assist you with. So our employment program is part of the Elder Financial Safety Center, and here's all of our staff just in the Elder Financial Safety Center. We have intake coordinators that when you call in, they make sure your call gets to the correct person. We have an insurance counselor, money managers that help people who might need help keeping track of their bills and their expenses. They might have a volunteer assigned to them to make sure that the money is going where it should. And of course, our financial counselors, our benefits counselors, and then the employment specialist. So we do have a wide variety of services that we can assist you with. And if you have any further questions about that, always feel free to call us. So, in the words of Keith Richards, you don't stop growing until they shovel the dirt in. And so with the employment program, how it works and the next steps, just please call 214-823-5700 and ask for employment, or email me at kmarkman@theseniorsource.org, and then we can get started from there.